Hey everybody, welcome to the Spirit Side Podcast. I'm James Caiden, and today for Monday, we're going to do a video podcast with our yearly, started last year, tour of Spirit Halloween. They have some new things to look at, and I think while we walk around the store this year, we're going to talk about ghosts, monsters, and manifestations of the mind. So that'll be a fun topic while we look around the store. Let's go. And here we are inside the store, the hallway that leads into the Dungeon of Doom. This is a new area. We moved in March, so this is a different Spirit Halloween than usual. I like the windows. Kind of gothic right there. I thought maybe we'd look at some of the new animatronics and then walk around and talk about our topic. So let's head inside. Their first new animatronic is It. Sadly, he's out of order because I would like to see what he does. I have not seen It 2 yet. I'm hoping to before it leaves the theaters. I don't know if it will be out on video or digital by Halloween, but I thought part 1 was pretty cool. It did the story justice, and I'm hoping to see part 2 very soon.
Stabbed it. I hit it with a hammer. You'd think it would have the common courtesy to die.
He is very tall. I'd say he's got to be 7 foot. Very cool. This guy's kind of cheeseball, but why not? Actually, you know, he looks pretty rad on video. Remember back in the 80s when we said, that's pretty rad? Haven't said that in a long time. But he was pretty rad. Gigantic clown over here. He could definitely slice you open. This one was kind of cool. I liked her. Oh, there we go. Very pretty. I wouldn't have minded meeting her back in the day when I was in the dating field. Love her eyes. They have the Game of Thrones Dark Dragon this year. He's kind of cheesy though. Check him out. He is the least cool amongst the many. At least I thought so. All right, let's head into the Spirit Aquarium and swim with the fishes. You know, I'm in here filming this stuff, and I got something in my eye. I can't get it out. that is the end. The wall of masks. One of the many walls of masks. So what do you guys think? We were going to talk about ghosts, monsters, and manifestations of mind. Halloween is a time where a lot of people get into the spooky and the scary. It's not so much for me anymore. I like to have it just like a fall celebration. But I certainly watch the horror movies, particularly with a Halloween theme. I always thought that was fun. But some people think all this is real, you know. You hear a lot of people say, oh, that's, demonic spirits and all that sort of thing. But, there's a theory in paranormal research that some parapsychologists believe that a lot of ghosts or entities could be manifestations of our own mind. Did you know that most poltergeist activity takes place where there are teenagers between the ages of 13 and 18? And some parapsychologists believe that the strange happenings around where these teenagers are when they're going through puberty, or their hormones are all in a rage, that this could actually be a manifestation of some kind of mental energy put off and put out by the very angst teenager. I know when I was around 13, I can't get her to work. Where I used to live, that's when a lot of that kind of started around me, when I was around 13, 14. And I was definitely a kid that had a lot of angst at one point. If you even think about things like the Ouija board, they were originally invented to be the talking board. The responses you got came from your own subconscious mind with ideomotor responses. But somewhere along the line it crossed over into being this tool that spoke to the dead. So could it be that a lot of these spirits that people are claiming to raise on Ouija boards are nothing more than manifestations of their own thought, their own mind, their own fears? I mean, I definitely believe in life after death, in spirits of various kinds. But I'm also a believer in the untapped power and potential of the mind. Even in magic, dark magic, and even some who say they practice white magic, there is what they call a thought form. And a thought form is a spirit or an entity that is created and given life by the thought and willpower of the magician. If you look it up online, you'll see where there was actually some folks from a university, I believe it was, that created an entity. They gave it a name, they gave it a life, completely fictitious person, how he died, what his occupation was. And they actually put a lot of thought into, believing, okay, we're going to make this a thought form. Harry Smith was a real person. He worked as a carpenter. He was married to Lydia. Now, I don't know if that was the actual name that they used, but they would actually sit around and talk about this person as if he were real. They would think about him as if he were real, meditating on him. And then they went to the Ouija board and did seances to contact their fictitious spirit, their fictitious person that they created. And it actually came through as if it were a disembodied ghost or spirit of a real person that had died. And he talked to them about his life. So that's pretty weird, and that definitely does go to show the power of our thoughts and our mind. So that's my question for this particular podcast. How much of what we think we see actually comes from within us? And speaking of Ouija boards and creating spirits, here we go. Where I used to live, and some of you may have heard me tell this story before, there was a place called Middletown, New York, in Orange County, New York. And there's a lot of places there that paranormal investigators actually go to. And I took a Ouija board to several of these places. A couple of them all by myself. I didn't even have a partner or a friend to conduct the experiment with me. And I tried to reach something, and that one of these was a graveyard where I had actually seen spirit manifestation more than a few times. But using the Ouija, I didn't get anything. So it was maybe even the spirit manifestations I saw the several times when I was there without any investigation tools. Were they there because on a deep subconscious level, I believed that they would be there lurking in the dark? I think it's definitely a subject that bears considering when we talk about the paranormal. Because we all know that the imagination can definitely run away with us, especially if we're alone in the dark or alone in a place where we're told it's haunted or it's a graveyard. The spirits of the dead still linger there. But if you really think about it, why would spirits of the dead linger in a graveyard? A graveyard or a cemetery would actually be one of the most hallowed or consecrated places on the earth. Think of all the people laid to rest there, all the different prayers and rituals and rites as people laid their loved ones to rest. And then there's the thought, who would actually hang around their grave? They see their loved ones put in the ground, or that they see their loved ones put their body in the ground, but that they're going to hang out there haunting the graveyard You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about spirits outside of the body compared to the near-death experience and what people say they saw, what they thought, what they realized once they knew they had passed. So again, I definitely believe in the afterlife. I definitely believe in spirits. But how many of those spirits are just that, figments of our own imagination? You know, there's a lot of, we say we're not a superstitious people anymore, but I think we'd be surprised how much we do believe that was actually the superstitions of the past. Check this out. Not today, Satan. Not today. I'm going to get that for my co-host, Stan Wanglin, on the podcast People Under the Stairs, because he's always busting on me about Satan. This will make a great gift. I'm going to drop it off to him on the way home. So folks, again, what do you think? Do you think all the spirits and creatures and monsters that we see, all of them are the real deal? Or are some of them coming from our own subconscious mind, our own imagination? As the Ouija board was invented to communicate with our own inner subconscious and inner knowing. And obviously it works, because people have gotten responses from the Ouija for many a years. But are those responses them or us? So that's going to wrap it up for our video podcast of touring Spirit Halloween. I don't want to meander around too much, babbling about the same old the same old thing. I'm not much of a walker and a talker. I'm the kind of person that I'm usually planted in my studio doing a podcast. But nonetheless, I think this is fun to do every year. Have a little discussion like we're just meandering through the store together, asking questions, talking about the paranormal. I love Halloween. I love autumn. So again, sound off below. Let me know what you guys think about this spirits, ghosts, and monsters being manifestations of our own mind, our own subconscious. I think it's a theory that's quite valid. All right, this is Paul James Caiden going into the night. I'll see you next time here on the Spirit Side.